I'm Alan Young.
I'm Molly Boots.
I'm Jeff Haynes.
I'm Sally Moore.
I'm Jeff Austin.
I'm Marguerite Kinward.
And I'm Fiona Gill, and I'm the minister of Rye Baptist Church. We've made this short film to introduce some of the people who are part of our church family here. People who've found that their faith makes a real and positive difference in their lives. We're all local, either living in Rye itself or in one of the villages nearby. And we're people just like you, getting on with our lives in this beautiful part of the country. And we all love this little town and the surrounding area. It's such a great place to live, isn't it? So see if you recognise anyone you know. Listen to their stories and see what you think.
I'm Alan Young and I live in Beckley. I was brought up in East London in a place called Custom House.
I'm Molly Boots and I live in Northiam, and I have done pretty much my whole life, as long as I can remember anyway.
I'm Jeff Haynes. I live in Iden with Kerry, my lovely wife, and our 2 cats.
Hi, I'm Sally Moore. I live in Icklesham. I've been there for about 30 years.
I'm Jeff Austin. I live in Peasmarsh now. I'm married to Mary. We have 4 children and 4 grandchildren.
I'm Marguerite Kinward. I live in Northiam. I'm married. My husband's Martin. I've got 2 adult children, and I have a granddaughter who was born this year called Phoebe.
I worked for 38 years for the NHS. I was Chief Executive of Hastings and Rother NHS Trust for 10 years, up until 2002 when the Trust merged with Eastbourne. A really exciting time. I loved my time at Hastings, and we did some interesting things. We opened the Conquest Hospital, of course, phase 1 and phase 2. Welcomed Princess Royal a couple of times, which was lovely.
I went to school at Highworth Grammar School for girls, and I was there for 7 years, and now I'm on a gap year, which is really good fun, and I'm getting ready to head off to Tanzania with Tier Fund for the rest of my gap year before going to uni after that.
I left school at the age of 15 and started a mechanical apprenticeship with the CGB, and worked in the power industry all my career, until in '86, when they were closing the station I was at, I moved down to Dungeness B and got a post there. Eventually I became the engineer in charge of looking after and maintaining the steam turbines at Dungeness B.
I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse since I was 18, and I currently work at Hospice in the Weald. I've been working there nearly 10 years now, and I really love and am passionate about palliative care and what we do. So I'm the matron of the inpatient unit at the hospice. I work full time. It keeps me pretty busy.
When I was 15 or 16, I went away to sea in the Merchant Navy for about 4 or 5 years as a deckhand. As I got a bit older, I ended up going to New Zealand. I worked painting sheep stations because it was out in Hawke's Bay, quite a remote area. After a couple of years in New Zealand, I got fed up and I thought, well, I think I'll go to Australia.
I work at the Conquest Hospital and have done for 26 years. I love it. It's very, very busy, but I do enjoy it. I'm the cashier, which involves dishing out all kinds of petty cash for lots of different reasons, for taking care of patients' money when they're not really expecting to be in hospital and they happen to have all their credit cards and worldly goods with them, so I take care of those.
Before I became a Christian, I really didn't think very much about religion at all until I got to secondary school, and I found myself surrounded with a lot of Christian friends and had nothing really to argue with them about. They were so strong in their faith, and that really impressed me, and I wanted to be able to tell them why they were wrong, but I really couldn't. So I thought, right, I've got to read up on some of this Christianity stuff so that I can talk to them about what they believe and why I don't believe it the same way that they do. And so I read stuff by C.S. Lewis, I read Mere Christianity, and was blown away by the fact that he could make a rational argument for Christianity. That was something that I'd never really thought about before.
The patient asked me to read the Bible. Somehow I didn't feel comfortable doing that, but I couldn't express why. And I spoke to another member of staff on the ward who was a Christian. I said, oh, she'd like someone to read a portion of the Bible. And he said, oh, I'll go and do that with her. And I thought, oh, why couldn't I do that? It was strange. And it just got me thinking. That led to me eventually speaking to the chaplain at the hospice at the time. And we just had a chat about lots of things. And she said, go and have a look at churches and see what you think and have a shop around. Because I said, oh, perhaps I might like to just go to church. And that led me to Rye Baptist Church.
I got a truck and I went over to Perth, ended up at Perth. I was there for a while and I thought I'd come back to England just for an holiday. I was still drinking and one thing I knew is I didn't have no satisfaction in my life, really. No satisfaction. And then one day, me and my friend was in the front room of our house and I looked out and there was a vicar walking along, Nigel Copsey his name was. And I said, do you want a drink? And he said, yeah, all right. And so he come in and suddenly a load of questions come out of us. You know, out of, the Bible, how can it be true? What about suffering? What about, all the questions that a non-Christian has on his mind, really, I think. Most people do.
I don't have any brothers or sisters, neither did my mother or my father, so I have no cousins, aunties or uncles or any family. But I did have 3 great aunts who lived down in the New Forest. But what happened was this great aunt died and I desperately wanted to go to the funeral. We had horrendous snow, really, really bad snow after I'd been down for the funeral, and the journey home was horrific. And I found myself alone, frightened, before mobile phones, really, really scared, wasn't going to make it, didn't know anyone, it was dark, it was cold, it was snowing, and I found myself praying. And I'd really, really praying to God to help me, to get me home. And he did. I think that was probably a Friday. And I found myself on the Sunday morning outside St Leonard's Baptist Church on the Sunday morning.
Being a Christian is not always easy. I lost my granddaughter at the age of 3 to cancer, which really hit me hard. Just after Gemma died, my wife was talking to a neighbour, and the neighbour said, can you really believe there's a God if he's allowed this to happen? And my wife's answer was, well, if there wasn't, we would have never got through this. Now, I totally agree with that.
God has been amazingly gracious to me and blessed me and looked after me and taken care of me and forgiven me for all sorts of horrendous things. And I'm incredibly grateful to him for that. I wouldn't not be a Christian for anything in the world. It is the most important thing in my life, and that doesn't mean my wife and family aren't important. In a way, following Jesus makes them more important than they were before, because they're what God has blessed me with.
I tried in my own life to get fulfilment in many different ways, alcohol and everything like that, doing my own thing. But really all it's doing is destroying you. To me, there's no other fulfilment, really. Christ is fulfilled. We was made for that. We was created for that. If you're being what you was made for and created for, there's no other better way to go, I don't think.
Stop and think about how much of an amazing difference it would make if you could have the hope in a God who loves you. That changes everything. It's changed everything for me. It's changed how I see myself. It's changed how I see other people. And believing in God has also brought me to things like the church. I love my church. I love every second I spend with the people in it.
I'm part of Rye Baptist Church. I love it. I love it. They're lovely people. It is a family. It's about being part of a group of people who have a relationship with God and who love one another. And we've got a fabulous church in Rye. If ever you're around that way, everyone is welcome. You don't have to dress up or say anything special, just come along. Can you be a Christian without going to church? I suppose you could, but why would you want to?
It's an amazing friendship and from people. They are very, very warm and welcoming. Lots of things go on, not just a Sunday service. It's not as you imagine it, and the comfort that you get, well, when you come to know Jesus, the comfort you get from that is unexplainable, really. It's just it's fun too. It's got a lot to offer, much more than you think.
The biggest thing with my family, they have seen how genuinely supportive the church is to people. I mean, for Martin and I, it was a massive... Well, we found it hard to understand how kind and supportive the church were to us as a couple, treated us equally, and supported us, whether we had a faith or not. So you're not singled out. You're all special. You're all loved. You're all cared for. You don't have to sort of join this club to then be cared for if you come to church. You're all seen as a special individual that deserves love and attention.
So there we are, just a small selection of the folk who make up our church. You can find the whole interview with each of them via the menu at the start of this disc, or if you're watching online, via the link on our website here, ryebaptistchurch.co.uk. There are lots of other people's stories there too, including mine, so check it out. We'd love to see you any Sunday morning at 10:45 here. Just come as you are, you'll be made very welcome. We're in Sinkport Street, next door to the pub, so it's really easy to find us, and you can park right behind the church. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you soon.